Welcome to Home versus House. I'm Lisa, and this is a channel where I share budget-friendly home decor and lifestyle ideas. Guys, I am back with another video. If you are joining me for the first time, welcome to my channel. If you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back. On today's video, I'm doing a June tour of my garden. What I have planted new, what I have transplanted from other places, what I have decorated since the last video, and so and then also how I'm preserving my plants with this heat wave over the last week. So guys, join me on this tour. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find something worth doing in your garden. Please do comment, like, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. So here's the tour. All right guys, so I showed this new development on my last video. So this is my attempt to create an arbor, an arch, so to speak, any of the above. And so this is what I've done with it so far. I've added some decor to it from since last video. I've also added some plants and just rearrangement. So starting with the top, I did some perennials, and I think I had that on the last video, but those were some clearance perennials that I added on the top. My plans are to add some more greenery, some more perennials, hopefully on the top. I would love to have kind of like a vine effect up there, but we'll see. I did also add the metal birds up here as a decor piece. And then alongside the fencing, I'm gonna fix this one. I think I forgot to put a second nail here. But along the post, I added these thrifted vintage metal pieces. Some of them I had in my stash, and some of them I picked up recently from the Habitat for Humanity Restore for less than $1. I think most of them were maybe 10 cents a piece, or by most 50 cents a piece. I think this larger one was. All right, so as we come in to the gate here, I still have not added this bottom piece going across, but that's to come. Up on top, I shifted these hanging plants, and I replaced the ones that I had before. So I had these in another area, and I brought it up here for a fuller look here. And I still kept some broken jewelry piece to hang on here. I added this plate, I'll show you on the other side, but I added this plate holder. This was a thrifted piece that I picked up for less than $5. And my plans are to use it as a trellis for some beans that I have growing down there. And then also for the two spots for the plates, I thought about hanging some seasonal plates there later on in the season or so. So I'm going to go through my plate stash, and those that are cracked or so but still have a nice deco on it, I will slip it in there. On this side, I have some hanging jewelry as well, and I moved this thrifted lantern here just to fill up the space a little bit, and then this second hanging plant. On this side, these two posts, I added some similar pieces, and then this metal candle or this sconce or candle holder. I have have on either side, and I just have some thrifted citronella candles on top of it. Let's start off with this corner today. So alongside here, I have my sedum plant is spreading out and doing really nicely. I have this cucumber plant down here that I'm going to have trellis up here, and then I'll have to figure out something. I'm looking for a second metal plate holder at the thrift store to add here. So I'm keeping my eyes out, and I've been frequenting the thrift store for that. I did move my rosemary plant over here. I thought it got more sunlight from where it was before. My transplanted sunflowers, there were 3 of them. They're not doing so great, but I still see some greenery. So that tells me there's life, and where there's life, there's hope. So I'm keeping hope alive for this, at least one of them. My Japanese spirea plant, they were flowering some, and I see the flowers dwindling. I'm not sure if I can deadhead these. I'll have to look up to see if that is possible. If you are watching and you have that answer, I would love for you to drop it in the comment, and so I can at least try it and see if it'll work for me. Over here in these pots, I have an assortment of herbs that I use for teas as well as for cooking. This first one is a chamomile, and I see it starting to prepare to flower. I do use the leaves for tea, and then I will use the flower once it come about. Over in this second pot, I have some bee balms growing, and it's spreading out very nicely. And then this third pot here, this terracotta pot, I have stevia growing there. This candle opera was a thrifted item that I had, and I recently spray painted that. This plant right here is an indoor plant. I had gotten this from my neighbor last year. I'm not sure the name of it. If you are watching and you know the name, drop it in a comment. I still have to look it up, but I will one of these days. All right, let's go back to the herbs. This one, not sure. I think this is some kind of, this one right here, in this bluish floral pot. I think it's some kind of annual seeds that I dropped. Not sure what that is. It's probably not an herb. And then over here, I have some peppermint growing. Over in this terracotta pot, I have some basil growing, and I've been using it quite a bit. Over here, I have these thrifted baskets that I picked up recently, and I just added some burlap that I had before, and I got some new petunia plants. They were, I think they were like $1/4 a piece after they took off the clearance percentage. And then this hanging piece was a piece that I got from the Restore. And I have this empty hanging basket here that I still have not filled yet. Down below, I replanted my clematis plant here. One of them is actually showing no life, and the other one is, so we'll see. I'm not gonna keep it here, I don't think, but it's here for now. My 2 boxwood plants are doing well. And this is some cilantro that I had growing here. I've harvested quite a bit, and so this is what it has become. This over here is my disheveled potting slash catch-all table and spot. One of these days I'm going to get to cleaning it up and organizing it. I have a seating spot here next to this tire raised bed, and I have some lamiant growing here and a few thrifted items. This lantern and the shepherd hook are both thrifted, that I've had for a lot of years. This patch right here, so I have some thrifted bricks laid down. This is a spot, my garden is on a slope, and this area right here, when it rains a lot, it floods, and this was my attempt to kind of mitigate the problem. I'm still working on it. There's still areas that floods pretty extreme, so to speak. All right, well, let's get back to the plants here. This is almost a deserted spot. I did throw down some okra seeds, and so I see a couple pop up. In the middle, I have a struggling patch of bearded iris, and then I laid down some broken pots down at the bottom. And then over here I have a patch of strawberry, and I definitely see some strawberries growing in there. I do need to get some more mulch for this area to lay down, but I definitely see strawberries happening. Over on this side of the cinder blocks, it's more vibrant. So a few weeks ago I put in some ginger, and I see signs of it coming up. This patch of basil was it's self-seeded from last year. And then I see a marigold happening over here. Another marigold here, and then I see a combination of weeds and a second ginger plant sprouting. Alongside the fence area, I have a combination of bearded iris, shrimp plant, and daylilies. Another seeding area here, as well as one of my spider plants that I have 3 of them out here, and I brought them out a little bit too early. I think the end of April, beginning of May, and they've got some frostbite on it. The other 2 look a lot healthier because I plucked out the brown leaves, so I still have to do that here. This courtyard, so over the past 2 days we have had quite a bit of wind, heat and wind out here, and I guess last night this chair fell over. But in this area, I call this area my courtyard. I have an assortment of plants, mostly hostas. So these hostas I've had for a lot of years. I had them up front in a more shaded area, and then I cut down some tree limbs, and the sun, that area got exposure, so I brought them back here some years ago, and I have had a couple of divisions of, I think, 2 plants. Have another variety of hosta over here. And then alongside the fence, last year I threw down some coneflower seeds and black-eyed Susan seeds, and I see them coming up alongside here. This is a shaded area, so I'm not sure how well they're going to do, but the coneflower is starting to flower, so it's not doing so bad. It still gets some sunlight. All right, I have this wooden walking path here behind these 3 evergreens. So this is the larger one. I planted this back here probably about 3 years ago, and then I have this smaller one, this one on this side, and I have another smaller one on the other side. I've thought about transplanting the smaller ones, but I think I'm gonna leave it and just trim up this middle, the larger one. I have this garden bed, this raised bed here, and guys, we have had like excessive heat warning over the past 3 days, and so my vegetable plants were scorching. So I covered the raised beds, the 4 raised beds that I have back here, with some landscape fabric that I had, and I used some clothespins to pin them down. So in this garden bed, I have an assortment of things growing. I have green onions that I've harvested. I have some marigolds. I have cabbage, green beans. I have a tomato plant back here. And what else? Not sure what else, but there are assortment of, I even think I have some okra growing here as well. So I hope they do better with a little bit of shade. So on the other side, this was the 3rd evergreen plant. That's over here. All right, let's move along. So on this side of the garden gate, I have some more daylilies and shrimp plants. And then as we keep going here, on this top side, I have a combination of bearded iris, some honeysuckle vine growing up the fence. And then I have over here this forsythia plant that I planted some weeks ago. I did do some weeding here, so I still have some cleanup over here to do as a result. And then in this pot right here, this yellow pot, I have some rosemary growing, and I use my rosemary for both tea and for cooking. In this raised beds, I have an assortment of things, mostly green. So I have broccoli growing here from the fall that I'm letting self-seed. I had some collard greens that I've harvested quite a bit. And then I have some green beans growing up the trellis. And recently I threw down some kale seeds. So I'll see how that springs up. And then I think I have a couple cabbage plant that I recently put down as well. And then on the outside, I have these 2 cantaloupe growing. So we'll see if I actually get to harvest some cantaloupe. I have some more bearded iris here, and in the cinder blocks, I have some dill that came back from last year. I planted some peppers there as well. Let's keep going. I'm trying to decide which area to go up. All right, so if we keep going up, alongside this back fence, I have sweet potato growing, sweet corn growing, some carrots. I recently put up this garden fence on this end because the sweet potato vine was spilling over the cinder blocks and into the walking path. So I put this up a couple of days ago. As you can see, the back sweet potato is climbing up this fence, and this one is making its way here, so it's gonna climb up here. I may reposition it to see if it'll climb up this fence, but we'll see. And then this one hopefully will climb up this fence right here. This one is making its way up this fence. Here's some carrots. So the carrots I laid down as seeds, and I just threw some seeds back there. So I didn't measure the width apart from each plant. I just threw down some seeds and see what will happen. On the outside of this back fence, I have some bearded iris that I had from up front that I moved back here. And I also added some cucumber. I transplanted some cucumber plants a few weeks ago, also on the outside, that I see some flowers. I'm really happy about that, and it's hopefully gonna climb the fence. So moving back on the inside, in this cinder block, I have a patch of lemongrass growing, this wild rose in this terracotta pot, another patch of lemongrass, and then over here I did this garden art trellis actually with some thrifted pieces that I have. And I did it mainly for this cucumber plant here to hopefully climb up this area. Another patch of lemongrass. And guys, this is the reason I put up the fence, so that the sweet potato will not spill over. And this one got away. So I'm going to put it back on the inside. And then guys, I also have some regular potatoes that I laid down that is growing as well. I think I have about 6 of them. So this is one, this is another one, and I have a couple more growing over here, along with some more sweet corn. I'm excited. My potatoes, this is the first time I'm growing potatoes, and I just got some potatoes from my local grocery store, and I slid them a couple of pieces and stuck them in there. The sweet potatoes are the Asian sweet potato variety, and that's one of my favorite sweet potatoes. So I decided, let me try to grow it back here and see what will happen. And I'm really happy with the results so far. Over here, these are 2 butterfly bushes that I transplanted back here. One of them not doing so well, and the other one seemed to be okay. In this spot, I have an eggplant growing that I started from seeds. Most, if not all of my vegetables, I started from seeds this year. I did some seeds last year and they turned out really well. And so I'm doing some more seeds this year, and so far they're doing okay. Over in this garden bed, I have some cabbage growing, and then mainly sweet peas that I've harvested quite a bit. I might be able to get probably another round of harvest here before they start dying out. They're starting to turn brown, but there's still quite a bit of greenery, so I just laid this fabric over them to try to preserve it as much as possible. In this pot, I have some thyme growing, and I use it for cooking and for tea. And then down below, I have a bearded iris patch. Alongside the fence, I have these foxglove plants growing, and I started those from seeds a few years ago. And I also see it self-seeding here with some new plants that popped up. So I'm happy about that. On this side, I have two Woodgelia plants that I recently planted, and they did bloom some weeks ago in this pretty baby pink color. Then I added some thrifted pieces, a little lantern, and then a broken shepherd hook piece that I had. So this patch is some coneflower, yellow coneflowers that I started from seeds, as well as some black eye Susan that I started from seeds. I threw those down maybe about 4 years ago, and I'm seeing the coneflower starting to prepare to flower here pretty soon. So I'll have a golden yellow patch of color back here. So over here I have some bleeding hearts, a heuchera, and a stilby plant, and a hydrangea. And then I just have this thrifted piece with two citronella candles. All right, let's go towards the middle. I have a blueberry plant growing here. This is my lilac bush. And then this vertical planter was a DIY project that I did. And I have a sage growing on the top, and then oregano. So my oregano got burned quite a bit from the sun, and I attempted to lay the last bit of landscape fabric that I had down over it to preserve it quite a bit. And the oregano I use for cooking as well as tea. And then I recently picked up this thrifted piece, so this hen, and I lay it down here, and on either side of it I planted two clearance salvia. Over in this smaller garden bed, so this is the one of four. I have some kale that I have to uproot at this point because I've harvested quite a bit. I had planted two of them in the fall, but I have some cabbage growing back here as well too, and some marigolds. Up on this side of the black eye Susan and coneflower in these cinder blocks, I recently transplanted some lettuce. And I'm gonna see how they go. So this is an area that I call my garden room. I love, love, love. This is probably my favorite part of my garden, to sit and relax, to read, to meditate, and to look around and get ideas for what I want to add to this garden. So this bench was a DIY upcycle. So the base of it is actually was a metal side table that I took off the top and added some longer pieces of wood for a seating area. So I did want an armrest, and I still do, but for now I use what I had, and what I had was these two heavy-duty metal brackets that I used to put a backing. So this seating area is a developing area. As I get new or new to me pieces, I will add. Again, I still want to add an armrest here, so look out for that in future videos. And then I recently picked up this piece, this metal piece right here to put my book. And then this is another spider plant from outside that I pulled off the frost bitten pieces, and I see more of the green has popped up, so it's looking healthy. So I'm going to keep it out here for the rest of the summer, and then towards the end of the summer I will bring it back inside. And then this is the third and larger spider plant. And then on either side, I have some begonia growing, and then another citronella candle. This was also thrifted, and then some thrifted decor piece. This seating over here was a upcycle piece that the chair was thrifted, and the seat part, that's actually a cutting board that I replaced the original seat with. It was rotted out. And then over here, I still have to plant these lamb's ear in this pot. I just have it sitting in there for now. And I have a peony plant in this pot. I've recently elevated this pot with this thrifted metal piece. And then I think this plant over here is a daisy, if I'm not mistaken. I recently planted that there, and then another patch of sedum. And guys, this is what this side looked like. So at the beginning of the video, I talked about me adding some plates down in here. So for now, I just have this garden decor piece, but I would love to add some plates in here, some seasonal plates later on. So I'm going through my plate stash to see maybe the broken ones that have a really nice decor element to it, that I can bring it out here. Guys, that is it for this garden tour and what my garden looks like so far this summer, and what I'm doing to preserve my vegetables from the scorching heat. I do try to water at least once a day for now. I might have to put it up to 2 as the summer progresses, but I water mainly in the mornings. So this morning I watered this area, but sometimes I do it if I have an early start to my morning for work. I then water it in the evening instead. Thank you so much for sticking in this far and joining me on this video. I hope this something in this video gave you some ideas on what you can do with your garden. I started back here just very slowly. I utilized things that I had already in my stash, including plants that I had in other areas that I moved it back here. Decor pieces I had on the inside of my home that I was done using, I brought it out here. I did some upcycling, lots of thrifted pieces. The plants were either from seeds or also clearance and discounted plants. So this is what I have done back here so far. I'm really pleased with it. This is one of my favorite spots of my home this season. As the heat progresses for the summer, it's probably not going to be one of my favorites. I'm probably just going to come out here just to water, but so far I've been enjoying the progress of my garden and the peaceful environment back here. Guys, I will see you on the next one. Thank you again for tuning in, and in the meantime, please do take care.